Jessica Janae joining us. She is the best.
Hi. I can't believe we're doing this.
Yes, we're here.
It's
we're doing
happening.
it. Both ADHD queens. So this will be the most interesting episode of all time.
It truly, I don't know where we're going to go or what we're going to talk about or what's going to come out of my mouth, but we're just going to do it.
Here we go. Okay, Jessica, introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from?
Okay. Shit. Guys, I don't plan. I literally don't plan anything. Even when I've taught at your workshops, I literally just kind of go over what I'm going to do a night before. I'm not even kidding, because ADHD, I physically can't prepare anything because I don't do anything, but we always pull it out of the bag at the end.
Yes.
We always nail it. Okay, backstory. Where do I begin? At the very who I am? Just an overview?
Who you are. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Overview. Jessica Janae. I started as a photographer, grew up in Utah, Mormon, now ex-Mormon. I was married for 11 years. I'm now divorced. Super good relationship with a husband. I have 2 kids. I was a photographer forever in Utah, and then that slowly transitioned to influencer and more of a, what's the word? Not public figure, but you know what I mean, rather than just photographer. And that's me in a nutshell.
And now you do also your classes.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah,
Dance classes?
Talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was also a dancer my whole life. Before I was ever a photographer, I was a dancer from age 3 to 20. And I always wanted to be on Broadway or do something like that. And then, after getting married, I was a drill coach for a little while, but that was a huge, massive part of my life, dance. And it wasn't until, and then after getting married and having kids and photography and busy and blah, 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 I didn't dance for years, for probably 7 years. And then when I met my now boyfriend 2 years ago, he's a professional dancer and he's 42. And it totally just lit this fire to me. I'm like, why don't I just take classes still? He's out here just dancing all the time and taking all these adult classes. So I started taking classes and just, oh my gosh, it was this, it lit this thing in me I didn't realize was missing. I'm like, oh my God, there you are. That was the missing piece.
I love that so
bad.
much.
I know. So now I've been doing all these classes that combine
and workshops, right?
Yes, and workshops that combine what I've been talking about with feminine energy and confidence, but combined with dance. So it's been really cool.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been super
I
cool.
need to come to those classes.
No, you do actually. I need to text you.
I
need to text you the next time I do one, even just a fun one.
Yes, I would love
Anyone
that.
can do it. You would love it.
Okay, I'm so excited. I actually really need that because I feel growing up in the church, sexuality and really dancing, sexy and all those things, it's so uncomfortable for me.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
That's 99% of the reason that I do these workshops and stuff now is because my upbringing was so sexuality shame based, anything having to do with sex, that was my childhood in a nutshell, just shame and feeling guilt and shame constantly around my body and around what I looked like and around anything sexual. And so now my relationship with it's just it's a 180. It's a 180. I don't know. Do we go into that? You tell me.
Yes. Wait. First, I want you guys to know that Jessica is my favorite person ever to have at events. I have
Thanks,
life
man.
coaches and therapists and all these people, but the way that Jessica speaks and you're magic somehow, I don't know, literally everyone just listens to you and just stares at you and your confidence just lights up a room. But I want you to start from point 0 and your experience that you told me about in your bedroom when you were a little girl. And
all the things.
Yes, all of it. I want you to go into that and then the confidence leading up to the workshops and then why you do it and because it's also incredible.
So, okay, holy shit. So I guess let's start. I grew up in the era of, the early 2000s, late 90s when anyone who grew up in that era struggled with body image times a trillion. The era that I grew up in is so different from what my daughters are growing up in. It's actually insane. And I'm so happy about it. They have their own struggles in certain things, but when it comes to specifically body image and confidence and sensuality and blah, blah, blah and stuff like that, our role models were Paris Hilton and Kate Moss and all these people, and them fat shaming Hillary Duff at 16 when she just looked like the most normal, thin girl you've ever seen,
Literally,
crazy body shaming was so normal in the media. It was normal for adults, for kids, for everyone. Like I had dance teachers, school teachers, friends, parents make comments about my body. And so, yeah, I was always just like I wouldn't even call myself chubby. Like it's so wild. But for that time period, I was chubby. You know what I mean? And now looking back, it's so wild because I just look like this normal, healthy girl. But like in my head, I was the fat girl. And that's what everyone made sure that I knew, that I was the fat one. And it's like even adults saying that, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
But that was my whole childhood experience. And like majority of my memories are around me trying to watch my eating, trying to exercise more, trying like panicking about what to wear, just like my entire brain. That's all that it was revolved around, was that I was fat and that I needed to fix myself. You know what I mean? In a nutshell. And God, yeah, that, I mean, it was very confusing though, because like I've never been ugly.
Yeah.
Like it was very confusing because I was also really popular. And because I'm really outgoing and I'm nice and I get along with most everybody and I do dance and I did art and I did all the things. And so it's like people liked me and I was popular, but boys would like secretly have crushes on me and secretly like me and I'd be the secret girlfriend, like starting in first grade.
I hate
like
that
my
so
first
much.
memory of that is first grade. Like that's crazy. And so as like a kid, and that carried on through.
I always cry when I listen to
I know,
it. The
it's so
tears are already
stupid.
starting.
It's so dumb. It's so sad, really, though. But like, I was always the secret girlfriend all through, even like a little bit in high school too. You know, I'd have these boys like at recess be like, kiss me on the cheek at recess and hug me and be like, you're so beautiful. And like, you know, just like cute little kid stuff. But then when we'd be in the lunchroom with all of our friends, they would like laugh and make fun of me and call me fat. And this one boy drew a picture of our whole friend group and it's seared in my brain. A boy that like liked me and was like telling me I was his girlfriend and that I was beautiful. And then in front of our friend group, like was drawing a picture of everyone at lunch and at the end drew a picture of me and just drew this big fat circle and was just like laughing so hard at it. Everybody laughing. And I'm like, wait, but he just barely told me that he liked me and I was his girlfriend. And so it's like, but I would just laugh along because I was so confused.
Yeah.
And it just made no sense to me. So, I mean, that's just one simple example of how it kind of went. Or like boys later on, like as I was more, you know, probably like 12, 13, 14, etc. They would like a boy that was dating someone I knew, like that had a girlfriend, would try to like secretly, you know, kiss me or hook up with me or make out with me all the time. Like I was always the secret.
Yeah.
But I don't blame the boys because they're just little boys. And the deep fat phobia is so deeply rooted, especially in that generation. Like all they were ever seeing in media was people making fun of the fat girl. Like that's all they saw. So it was probably confusing for these teenage boys to be like, I'm attracted to this girl because I think she's pretty and she's cool and fun, but I have to hide it and make sure that nobody else knows I'm attracted to her. Everyone else has to think that I think she's gross. But then in secret, you know, I actually like her. It was it really, can we swear on here?
Just,
I almost just said the F word. I was like, it really just fucked my brain up. It really did. But I didn't
it's just
realize
so
it
wild
until,
to me hearing this because it's like the person that you are now is just so confident and like
it's crazy.
glamorous and like you totally embrace your body and you love yourself. It's just like, so keep going. It just blows my mind that you could feel all these things and now be this completely different person. Right? Yeah.
I mean,
and I just wish you could go hug little her and just tell
more
her.
More than
like,
anything. Yeah. That's what makes me cry. I can't do that yet. I can't think about little me yet.
Yeah.
But I also had undiagnosed ADHD, which I have only learned about in the last year and a half, which literally made my whole life make sense suddenly. Because not only did I have shame around being fat, but I also had so much shame around just how my brain, like, I didn't understand why my brain wasn't working like other people. And I was super good at masking. So like, hence why I would just laugh along with everyone when they made fat jokes and like, just pretend like, I don't care, LOL, I'm still cool and fun and confident. But then secretly I would go home and I would literally cry myself to sleep. And I just would have to like drag myself out of bed in the morning and then like put on my mask again and go back and like, like, I had like a fairly good childhood, but there was a lot of like mental struggles. Like not only was I had like an actual mental disorder with ADHD because my dad and his whole family does as well. And so I know I do without a doubt. But it was like also these kids unknowingly like just really fucking my head up bad. So bad. Oh God, yeah. But childhood, all of that, and adolescence, it was all kind of the same. Like, I was popular and I was pretty and I slowly got more confident as high school went on, but never really, I hated myself. I hated myself. And even in high school, as I got a little more confident and I would like dress up every day and like try to get cute. Like I would be stuck in the car. I remember my mom driving me to high school like so many times, and I would just be crying in the car because I hated the way I looked, and I'd be like in a full cute fit, like cute little mini skirt, matching top, hair curled, dressed to the nines, like, and she would just be like, I don't understand. I don't even know what to say to you anymore. Like, you look great. Like, I don't even know what to say to you anymore. And I would literally be bawling before I walked into school. Like, the depth of self-hatred by probably like age 17, 18 was just out of control. And not to mention, during that time, I had an on and off boyfriend at 15 who really did a number on me, as we usually all have that one high school boyfriend, especially those girls who are insecure and just like looking for that validation. This has to do with this, but it's a little subject jump. But I think having that like push and pull of being constantly made fun of, but then also knowing that boys were interested in me in secret, like, made me want that validation so much more, because it's like the analogy with the mouse, and have you seen that with like, it's like this little science experiment or something. It's like they put this mice in a little thing and they teach them that if they push this button, then food comes out. And so they're just like living their best lives. They push the button, food comes out. But then eventually they changed it like a few days later, where if they pushed the button, sometimes it would come out, sometimes it wouldn't come out.
Yeah.
And it made the rats go insane. And they just sat around the thing all day, every day, just pushing it, like literally going psychotic.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's kind of what like abusive relationships and stuff like does to you, especially teenagers with boys who are not adults yet.
Totally.
Like, I don't blame my exes.
Yeah.
But my boyfriend at the time had his own shit bad. He had shit bad, and he put it all on me. And it was very much like a toxic, abusive, mentally relationship, because sometimes he would just treat me like the best thing that's ever happened to him. And he, but now come to find out, it's like, I think I was just there for his like anything he wanted sexually.
Yeah.
But I thought that was love at the time.
Yep.
But then sometimes me not changing a thing and coming to him and like wanting that love, sometimes
and then
it
you
would
getting
be
that validation because he wants your body, or
yes,
like,
and I'm like, oh, yay, this is so great, and we're in love, and he loves me. But then the next day it would be completely different. He'd just be a complete asshole, and I'd find out he's like, hooking up with other girls. But then a couple days later, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, the love of my life, like that type of thing. So that just made me like cling even harder to someone to find validation.
Yeah.
And so I think that turned me, I was like promiscuous for Utah standards.
Yeah.
For a Mormon Utah
Yeah.
girl, promiscuous.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I never had sex actually ever in high school or anything, but everyone called me a slut. Everyone slut
Which
shamed
is
me.
so wild.
And that's like, all I was doing was like making out and dry humping some boys, which everyone and their fucking dog did. It's like the bishop's son is doing that. Everyone chill,
Mm-hmm.
But everyone, I was the slut, I was the whore, I was the, it was so, but really it's just like this girl who had been, my brain just was so confused and so low that I was looking for any type of that love and validation to know that I was okay as is, that someone liked me and my body and myself as is without changing. And I just was searching anybody. It just happened to always be the really shitty people that that preyed on us, unfortunately. Literally. Yep. So, God, yeah, teenagers were wild and hard and weird, and it just turned me into my whole identity was around someone validating my body. And after so long, I finally, me and that one guy, we ended it. And then only like a few months later, I met Jake, my now ex-husband, but my husband at the time. And when I met him, it was like, I was like, oh my God, this is the answer.
So wait, in high school, did you start kind of like, were you like hiding your body, kind of like trying to wear like baggy clothes and like?
Oh, in high school, a little bit, yeah. I just would overanalyze everything. Like I never, ever showed my arms, ever. And I still struggle with that. Like I'm trying to like break that. And I have pretty good now. I've broken pretty much everything now,
Good.
but just I would overanalyze it. But I always tried to be cute. Like I was always dressed to the nines. Like I would wear heels in school. Like just every outfit I was like a psycho about. I was like a freak.
Aww.
But it's like even when that didn't work and things ended so bad with my boyfriend, it was after that, after I met my ex-husband, we met and he was by far the nicest, like checked off every box. He was a return missionary. He was, he went to church. He had a great family. He was so kind to me. And like we met and we literally, like it was like immediate. Like we went on a date and then we were just together.
Yeah.
And we got engaged in 6 months. Like it was just like the Mormon trajectory, like super fast. I was 19.
Yeah.
I was 19. I think I'd been 19 or I'd been 20 for 3 days when we got married. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's when things like my mental health and everything really took a turn, because growing up in this culture, like you probably understand this by far, but for someone who doesn't, like when you grow up like in the Mormon church, the idea of marriage is such this fantasy, and they build it up to be this like pinnacle of happiness. Like if you can just do X, Y, and Z and reach this thing, like all of your problems are going to go away. Like if you meet this guy, like he is going to make you so happy and like you guys are going to be perfect. So it's like I met this guy that on paper was like perfect. I mean, he is literally amazing. Like he's probably my best friend now. Like we are best friends. And it took it's taken a while to get here, but like he's perfect. He's great. He's literally the perfect guy. But I just wasn't even like, we had zero hard conversations. We had zero like real anything.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my God, we found people and we're both attracted to each other and we both, have this, and this. And so it was like, the next step is to get engaged because we're gonna, fuck up and have sex if we don't hurry and get married. And then we like immediately got married.
Been there.
Dude, like, oh yeah, we had to go like confess to the bishop when we like slipped up and just like did a little bit. Not even, you know what I mean? And I just like bawled the whole bishop's interview and wanted to die. And he was like suggesting for us to maybe like move our wedding date up or back, or just like, you guys, you gotta be careful, you can't slip up and whatever, blah, blah. That's just whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just a rambler. But after getting married, it was like this light bulb went off. Like all of a sudden, like the smoke cleared, the smoke and mirrors. And I was like, oh, I still feel the exact same way, except maybe worse now. Like maybe a trillion times worse. Like all of the insecurities. It's like a 22-year-old guy who also grew up in the church and also knows nothing about sex and hasn't even been able to dive deep into himself either or learn about what he likes or what his life looks like. Like, how is he supposed to just be my savior and make all of my problems go away? I just really like put that on him without actually really realizing it, that if we finally get to be married and have sex and live on our own and go to church together, like everything's fixed. And that is so not the case. Like, first of all, sex is so complicated, and especially when you grow up being so ashamed of your body and so terrified of anyone seeing it and working so hard to like cover it perfectly in a way that you look perfect and just like overanalyzing it. Like marrying someone and being able to have sex finally without having any inner work or hard conversations or anything like is not gonna fix it.
Yeah.
I just want to like scream that to every girl right now that's 19 getting married. I'm like,
I know.
You gotta do the work. You gotta do the work on yourself, and he's gotta do it too.
And you're like the only one that can save yourself. I feel like we try to find that in relationships.
Oh yeah.
And that does not solve anything, It
makes it 50 times harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I do believe that you can grow in relationships together. I do. And I think you can work on yourself together, but like, you at least have to be aware of that. Like, I wasn't even aware of anything.
Yeah.
I was literally a teenager, so I was literally 19, So anyways, that's when things took a turn. And I shut down like Jessica as herself. Like, I didn't even know, I had no identity anymore, except that's when I went full gung-ho in my photography business when I was 19, 20. And I just put my entire brain, I put everything into that thing, like all of my time, my physical energy, my mental energy. I stayed up late at night. Like I did a photo shoot every day. I looked on the calendar one year and I had done a photo shoot every single day for a year, even Sundays. Like I did not have one day of a break.
Wow.
I just like hyper focused on that because that was the only thing that would like bring me that like happiness, because I could just book photo shoots and make money, and I was traveling and going insane. But during that time, like, ask me if there was one, if I even ever like paused to be like, am I happy? Do I even like this? Like, who even am I anymore?
This is when we met. right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you wouldn't even recognize me now. I love it's so.
Oh, you
it's
are
so,
a different human.
No, it's actually scary.
Yeah.
Like I look completely different. I only wore big, giant, huge, baggy t-shirts, baggy hoodies, baggy sweatpants. The baggier, the better. Never did my makeup, never did my hair. Like, yeah, if we had some like special family outing, like dinner thing for someone's birthday or something,
Yeah.
then I would do my hair and makeup, but it was like, that was rare. Like, that was rare. Like, I remember one time it had been like, I hadn't even had kids yet. It had been like almost a year of marriage. And one time I like came out of the bathroom and my hair was down. I hadn't even done it. It was just like brushed nice and down. And Jake, my husband at the time, was just like shook. He was like, oh my, did you? And it was this, I'm like, oh, have I really like let myself go only after 6 months of marriage? Like I thought this was supposed to be the honeymoon stage. I guess I'm doing it wrong. So yeah, that was during the 7 year rough patch. I did not look in mirrors. I was so detached from my physical appearance. I was so detached.
And you're taking pictures of all these models too. I feel like maybe that would mess with you a little bit.
Well, because most of my friends, like just because I had always been an artist and a photographer and a dancer, so I had all these like beautiful friends that I would always use for photo shoots or even use like I would choreograph for them. Like I've always been surrounded by beautiful people and and so it never made me jealous, but I had this story in my head that like I just had accepted that was never going to be me.
Yeah.
Like I was never going to be that girl who felt pretty and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I was never going to be a girl that was desired and that's okay. I was never going to be this like sexual, sexy being that I envisioned for my life. Like I'm never going to be that confident, hot girl. Like I remember telling myself those things, like actually being like, that's okay. I'm not meant to be like the cool hot girl. I'm just not meant to be sexual and that's okay. Like I guess that's just not my story.
This is so big, especially for everyone listening. I'm like, this is so big that you had those thoughts and you are just so different now.
No, I'm actually the polar opposite now.
Yeah.
It's actually insane. I mean, not to say that I don't still struggle, but it was just like I think back to that human and I'm just like, oh, I just want to hug her.
I know.
And be like, even though I've like made, changes, like I've gotten my lips done multiple times since then. And I've tried Botox. I've tried filler. I've tried it all. I've tried it all. I got lipo on my C-section area. Like if anyone wants to ask me anything, I'll tell you what I've done. But that's not even part of the difference. Like if you see the photo of me during that time period, you do not recognize me. Like people think I've gotten a nose job. People think I've gotten a facelift. It reminds me a lot
of the movie I Feel Pretty,
It is 100% that movie. It is 100% that movie.
She's like so insecure, falls and hits her head, wakes up, the most confident human in the whole world, but nothing changed besides her mindset. Like
1,000,000,000%.
Yeah.
No, that movie, actually, if nobody's seen that movie, we all need to go see that movie.
It is the best. Yeah.
It's so good because that's literally it. That's literally it in a nutshell. But it took, oh God.
I want to know where that even started. Where did it click?
Okay, yeah. So it was like, I had babies. So I was already like this way where I just didn't get ready to actually secretly hate myself. And I was really, like I said, I've always been good at like putting on the mask because the real me has always been outgoing.
Did you feel like people thought that you loved yourself? Like,
yeah, I think that I had taken on the role of like, I'm just the overweight photographer who's really funny and outgoing and everybody's friend. And
it was like an honor. If you reached out to me to do a photo shoot, it was like an honor. I was like, oh my gosh, like that bedazzled picture with my pink hair. I'll have to share it. It was so sick. Like,
it was iconic.
You've always been like so artistic and creative and cool. And
thanks, man.
Yeah.
I am really good at photography. It's crazy.
Yes, you are. You are.
No, yeah, I was really good, because when I'm in the zone of like doing something I love, like the real me personality wise comes out, but then I'd secretly at home, like I was just like devastated. Like I'd look in the mirror and I would just bawl my eyes out and like sit in the bathtub and just be like, is this really me? Is this my life? Like, I hate my body. I hate sex. I don't want anyone to look at me. I don't want my husband to touch me. I'm disgusting. Like, he deserves better. Like, secretly that was and I would stare at these cute outfits that I wanted to wear, and I would just get so mad. And so I just wore, so, like, I was in the depths. But I had kids, and that definitely helped the distraction, I think. Like, I could just put all my efforts into that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, like, they say they lose themselves after kids, but I was already lost before that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had already given up on everything, at least looks wise and self-love wise. And so when was the break? I mean, it's actually crazy because it was year 7 of our marriage that things started happening.
Don't they say
which
that's
everyone
the year?
says
Yeah.
year 7 is where shit starts going down, and it was literally year 7. It's so crazy that that's actually a thing. But I believe it's because it's literally like, what is the word? It's like every 7 years, like you're a different human physically. Like, your cells have all. Is it that? I don't know. Someone can change the words for me. I don't know things about smart scientific things, but like, it's like all your cells have completely changed or whatever. So in 7 years, you actually are a different, like, human being physically on the inside. Yeah. And I think that has something to do with it. I really do. And also, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, God, I just had been so miserable for so long, and I hated sex with my whole heart. I hope it's okay that we're talking about sex right now. I'm pretty sure we're fine. And that was one huge thing that was really hard for me, is I didn't know how to explain to him that it started making my husband super insecure, because I'm like, it actually has nothing to do with you, and I don't know how else I can say this. Like, it is me. I just, like, hate everything about myself and about my body and about sex and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, so it's like, I was so tired. And I had gotten to the point where, like, I'd mentioned, I'd stopped looking in the mirror, like, completely. And I was getting out of the shower one day, and I remember, like, actually seeing myself in the mirror for the first time, and I couldn't even tell you how long, because it had been long enough that I had that actual thought, like, whoa, I haven't seen myself in a long time. And I just, like, stared at my body and stared at my face and everything. And I can, like, picture it in my head right now, because I saw these, like, new stretch marks on my sides I'd never seen before. Like, it had been that long since I'd let myself actually, like, not be detached from my physical body, because I just liked to be in this fantasy world of imagining what my life will be like and what I will look like, and imagining what I want my hair to look like and what I want my body to look like. Like, that was my favorite way to fall asleep, is I would just imagine what I want it to look like. And
probably since you were so little too.
I would do that when I was a kid. Yeah. Constantly. I'd pick out different pieces from different celebrities that I wanted to look like. Like, that was my favorite game to do. I would just, like, be like, okay, I want her face, I want her legs, I want her body. And I would just fantasize about it. And yeah, so I saw myself in the mirror, and that was, like, the first moment of the light bulb, I think, because I was like, holy shit, like, I don't even know who I am. I'm like, who even is that? Like, that is not the person on the inside that actually, like, the real,
like, there's no connection.
There's zero connection. I was like, this is freaking me out. It's kind of the same way after you have a baby, because the first time you look in the mirror after you have a baby, like, your stomach is so different, and it stays out for, like, a few weeks, and so you have that out of body experience where your physical self is not, and that is kind of what it was like, because I'd waited so long. And so I had that light bulb moment, and it just, like, got my mind just, like, thinking about this, and I was like, why am I so miserable? Like, what do I need to do? Like, where do I even begin? Like, I don't even know where to begin. And then my 2 friends were single at the time, and, they would always, like, go out and party, and they lived together downtown Salt Lake, and they were my best friends. So we'd hang out once in a blue moon, but they'd always want me to, like, come and hang with them and, like, go out and whatnot and go to dinner. And they convinced me to go out this one night to dinner, and then to go to this bar after where they always go dance. And we got all dressed up. It was, like, the first time I'd, like, gotten ready in a long time.
I want to know, like, what you wore, though, because I feel like at that point, did you even have clothes like this?
I did. Like, I would buy cute stuff and, like, wear them, like, on our anniversary dinner.
Okay.
But even then, it's like, in the clothes, like, it didn't even matter. it didn't even matter. I still just felt like shit. Like,
Yeah.
I remember, and my outfit was actually pretty cute. I remember I had this like long black, like duster leather, like long black jacket with like a black top underneath and black pants.
Cute.
So I like feel like, okay, this outfit's cool. But then like we go to dinner, but then once we get to the situation where it's like all people around my age, everyone like looking at us, like just eyeballs, like men, women, all these like cool people. I don't know. I just immediately was like, oh my God, I am just so disgusting. Like, why am I even here? And we ran into these guys and girls that we knew from high school. And there was this guy there who I've known forever and was super cool in high school, whatever. And he was always really popular and good looking and nice. And we ran into him. And I remember this was like the second part of the light bulb, was because we were really close and he came up to me, was like so excited to see me. I was like, oh my gosh, and like gave me a hug and we were like chatting. And the whole time I just kept thinking like, he's like, this is crazy that this was actually a thought in my head. Like I just kept thinking like, oh my God, I feel so bad for him. Like he can go hang out with like the girls in his group. Like he does not need to be talking to me. Like he's probably so embarrassed to be seen with me.
Oh my God.
Like, isn't that stupid? It's so stupid. But I had that like the whole time. And so after talking for a minute, I was like, okay, it was great to see you. Like, you can go back with your friends. Like, we're good. And I just wanted to like get out of there because I'm like, everyone is just like staring at me, wondering why this guy is talking to this like hideous fat woman. Like, it's so stupid. But I was so embarrassed. But then, yeah, the rest of the night, like, that's when the wheels started turning. I'm like, maybe, like, nobody is running in horror when they see me. You know what I mean? Like, no man or woman is like looking at me and doing a double take like, oh my God. Like I just, yeah. And after that night, I just was laying in bed and that's the night that I was like, I'm so tired of hating myself. Like what in the fuck?
Wow, yeah.
Like what in the fuck? I just was like, nobody even looked twice. Like, are you going to waste, this is now you're 27. Like, are you going to waste one more year?
And literally no one cares. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like the beginning of the change. And yeah, that was the night when I had my come to Jesus. And I don't know if it was divine intervention. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna bawl my eyes out. But that was the night that I was like thinking something has to change. Like I am beyond rock bottom. Like this is like so morbid to say, but it's very much my reality, is that part of my like ADHD and mental health and struggles is that I constantly had suicidal ideation, constant. Like it never went away. Like I remember having those thoughts and like thinking of how I do it at like 11 years old. Like that's insane, you know? Because that's my kids are that age.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a reality for me that I actually it got really bad, and it's something I still deal with. I think it's probably part of the ADHD thing, but it's like during that time it felt like I was just trying to do anything to convince myself not to do it.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I don't know. That sounds really scary, and I know that's a hard thing to like talk about and hear for people, but that's very much my experience, so I think it's important to the story. But yeah, at that point, I had already thought about it 100 times, and I almost like was getting angry some days that I couldn't do it because I'm like, I can't leave my family.
Yeah.
Because I would never do that to my kids. Like, thank God for my kids, or it probably would have happened. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Which is also terrifying to say,
Wow.
but very much reality for me was that, and it was like that week before that like light bulb moment was like I had thought about suicide so many times that it was like getting insane. Like it was getting bad. It was getting really like dark. And yeah, like sitting on that bed, that was the night that I had the picture of my younger self in her bedroom in elementary, and I just pictured myself giving her a hug and just telling her that she's okay and that she's perfect as she is. And that she doesn't need to change one thing. And like this all happened while it's like my whole family was asleep. I had just gotten home and I was just laying there. And yeah, I had that picture in my head. And after hugging my younger self and going to sleep, it's like I woke up and that was kind of like the first day of everything changing. And now I love to use that as an exercise, is picturing my younger self. And anytime I talk to anybody about confidence, self-love, feminine energy, blah, 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 like that's something I love to make people do now.
Yeah.
Because it's like now everything I do is for little me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like little me had so many dreams and wanted to not be miserable so bad, you know, and just kept thinking that one thing is going to fix that someone's going to come save me. And eventually, if I marry the right guy, I'm going to do this. Eventually, if I get to this thing, like my life's going to be better. It's like little me turned into teenage me, which turned into this. And then it's like, I just kept waiting and waiting. And at the end of the day, it's like the thing that changed everything was me helping me.
Yeah.
Was little
wild.
me getting a hug from older me. You know, it's like the men didn't fix it. The parents didn't fix it. The boyfriends didn't fix it. My kids didn't fix it. No amount of life coaches or classes or money made from photography is going to fix it. It was literally older me hugging little me.
Oh, that is so powerful. Yeah.
Like it's so dumb when it's broken down. It's so simple.
So simple.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, but God, the end of our marriage was hard and I did some really fucked up shit. And it's taken a long time to like forgive myself for a lot of it. But my ex and me are like, he has forgiven me and I have forgiven him. And we are like in such a good place now. But I eventually moved out. It's only been 3.5 years, I think, which is really not that long. But but it's like, that next morning, like that was just the very beginning of me just slowly starting to like work on this. And
the awakening.
And it took a long time. Like I still like am learning things every single day. And I'm still like having to fight those old stories. I've gotten so much better at it now.
So was that also like your breaking point with like the church too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say it started before that though. The thing with the church, church has always been a hard thing for me.
Okay, yeah.
Like even when I was younger, it was hard because I had like a really strong testimony, what I thought was a strong testimony, but I think it was just me really trying so hard because I never felt good enough in the church because I always felt like slut shamed in the church and I always felt eyeballs on me from every man, every young man, everyone. I felt like jealousy / judgment from the leaders that are women as well. Yet it's like, I'm not the one sexualizing me. I'm just like wearing normal clothes. Like, sorry, I developed super early. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just wearing the clothes that other 11-year-olds are wearing. Like, I'm not trying to be sexy. You know what I mean? Literally, it's not my fault that all the boys are like groping me and friggin' when I'm 12. So the church had always been a sore subject for me, and my husband at the time, he left first, actually. He left the church first, which was super shocking. I like wasn't expecting it. But it almost was like the thing that finally gave me the excuse to like really take a look at it and take a look at my relationship with the church. So I'd say it was like a year before all of this happened that he left the church. And so it did all kind of happen at the same time, I guess.
Yeah.
It did all slowly happen at the same time. God, that's a lot at one time, actually. I forget that happened all at once. Yeah. Holy.
And being an outsider, just like watching all these shifts, I'm like, okay, now she has a new boyfriend and now this and this. And now she's way more confident and like, okay. I'm like, I need to know the backstory here.
And I'm just like an artist through and through. Like I live to just create no matter what form of media it is. Like I just live for that.
Yeah.
Started as art, turned to photography and then dance all through it, just choreographing and painting and drawing. And I've always loved to share it. Like I've shared my art starting on MySpace and then turned to Facebook and then Instagram. Like I've always shared everything. So people who have followed me since the beginning, like you, have probably had a shocking ride. They're like, what is she doing now? No, she's divorced?
You've always shared the very best memes, the very best like reels on your story. You have the best captions on your stuff.
Thanks, pal.
Like
I try real hard.
Yeah, really though. Like I can tell you put so much detail into everything. And honestly, it feels like a lot, like very effortless too. Like,
okay, good.
Yeah, you're awesome. Like I'm just like,
thanks, dude.
Our queen.
Nowadays, like I do the absolute bare minimum with social media right now, because this has been like the year of, this has been the feminine energy year.
Yes.
The last 2 years, like I've really started learning about that, and which has directly correlated with my dancing and dance workshops and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that is like the best way I've been able to tap into my sensuality and my feminine energy apart from sex.
Yeah.
Which I think is very important for women as well.
I have a question. Did you go to therapy throughout this, or were you just kind of like figuring these things out on your own? Like
I went to therapy.
Podcasts or?
I went to therapy during our the end of our relationship. We went to couples therapy.
Okay.
And I only had a few sessions alone.
Wow.
But I hated it.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm sure if I tried it again and found someone great, it would be fine.
No, it is like so impressive that you did all this like without going to therapy.
Well,
and,
I think I have a curse where I'm almost too self-aware.
Yeah. I feel that.
I know when I'm fucking up. You know what I mean? And or like in hindsight, I can always be like, oh, I did that because I was feeling this way and this happened. Oh wow, and then you did that and it hurt this person. My brain never shuts off. Like with ADHD, like it is a never-ending stream of consciousness. Like I'm analyzing everything I'm saying, everything I'm doing, everything I've done in my past, everyone I've hurt, shame, guilt, happiness. You know what I mean? It's like never stops.
Yeah.
So like when I was in therapy, like I just felt like I already knew.
Yeah.
And like but then in couples therapy, I really hated couples therapy. I felt like the therapist was really putting the entire end of the relationship and why the relationship ended on me. It was weird.
Okay. Yeah.
It was like so I think that kind of turned me off to it. Mm-hmm. But I know that that's not every therapist.
Yeah.
Like I'm well aware of that.
Yeah, totally.
I have so many friends who live and die by it and are like, it changed my life.
Yeah.
So never say never. I think I'd give it a try again, but I think I just had a really bad time with it for those 2 years that I was doing it. And I figured it out without it thus far. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if I ever do it again. But I hired this life coach, I guess. I don't know if she called herself that at the time. It was like, so now you hear it all the time. But she was like the aunt of, we were kind of related, but kind of not. And I actually hired her just like out of desperation. I just need to shake my life up. And so she came over. It was like 6 weeks. She'd come over like once a week and like give me homework and whatever. And she's the one who kind of reintroduced me to like manifestation and the power of the mind and healing your body and blah, blah, blah with your mind. Even though I'd read The Secret years and years prior, and I'd read like these things, you know, so I knew of it, but she really like helped me implement it.
Yeah.
And that was like one thing that really kicked the change into gear. This was only like a couple weeks after my light bulb moments of holy fuck, like you're miserable and you need to change or else you're not going to be on the earth anymore, probably. Yeah. And so that instead of therapy, going that route is almost very similar, but that I loved that. And I would do that again tenfold and recommend a life coach tenfold. And I literally consumed any podcast, book, anything that was uplifting, that was teaching you about healing your mind, that was teaching you how to heal like mental illness. Like I just consumed everything. Yeah. That was all I was doing, is listening to podcasts. I started doing affirmations. She taught me how to do like affirmations properly, to have like 5 set ones, write them down, stick them on your mirror. And it was like one having to do with your like physical appearance, one having to do with like where you want to be financially, career-wise, relationship-wise, and then you'd like memorize them, look at them every day, say them out loud, each of them 5 times, until it was just so ingrained in your brain that anytime I had free time in the car or editing, like I would just say them to myself and just like focus on it and meditate on it. And I started doing that like a psycho freak. And yeah, it's like it was a slow process, but that's slowly things started changing, and it had to be a little weird it had to be hard for my husband at the time. Like I don't deny that at all. Like he was watching me like turn into a different human being in front of his eyes. Weird. Yeah. Like a completely different human, like, which is hard in a marriage. And but it was like I was just dying to be the person that I had always wanted to be. Yeah. And the final step was I don't think at this point, like we had grown so far apart, and even though like alone, like he's an amazing person. I just don't think together, like I was not my best self. He was not his best self at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so the final step was I needed to move out on my own and just try it and just see if I can do this thing. So that's where I've been the last 3.5 years on my own. But even before I moved out, like I had changed into a different human already. It was crazy. It was crazy.
One question is like, what's like your daily routine now? Like, how do you connect with yourself? And like, when you do kind of fall back into that, like, what do you do? And then if you had any advice for like 5 years ago you or your younger self, whatever comes to mind, what would you give them?
First daily routine, then advice. Okay, so daily routine right now is literally nothing because I'm really struggling. I'm currently really struggling with that. I'm trying to figure out a better way because the discovery of ADHD and learning about that and realizing that that's why I am the way I am and why I can't hold a schedule to save my actual life has really been fun. So we're in the midst of trying to figure it out, but
I'm sure so many can relate. I can relate.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like right now I don't have a set morning routine and evening routine, but I do certain things every day that are gonna help me. And one of them is I love Joe Dispenza's meditations. Okay. I know there's like controversy around it, but like just his basic morning and night meditations I bought forever ago and I have them on my iTunes. And I try really hard to listen to at least the morning one or the night one. Cool. To fall asleep or like when I'm waking up or getting ready even. I never have time to just sit there and meditate. I never can make it happen. Yeah. I've tried. I can't do it. It's not going to happen. So I do it during other things, and that has helped me a lot. Cool. But also, I have to do something physical, like work out. Like that was one of the things that really helped change my confidence like crazy is when I started going to the gym every day and weightlifting. Like I had to stop going there to like beat my ass up and think that I need to go there to lose weight, and I had to start going there only for the brain benefits. Yeah, because you love your body. Yes. Yeah. I'm like, we are going here because we love our body and we're celebrating it. And it took a long time. It took like 6 months, honestly, for me to finally get in the groove of making it a habit. But feeling like powerful and feeling your body get stronger is it brings you so much confidence. Yeah, totally. And just like sticking to the commitment of working out every day brings so much confidence. Keeping that promise to yourself, that'll make you more confident. So working out has just become integrated in my life, and I try to weightlift every single day. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm dancing. So It's like one or the other. I have to do that because just to get by on the severe lack of dopamine that my brain has, I have to have one of those. Yeah. And it like, if anyone hasn't done that yet, like if you want to be more confident, literally, like don't go work out to try to lose weight. Just go work out somewhere just for the mental benefits. Yeah. Oh. So if I can listen to a meditation and get one of those things done a day, workout or dance, then I know that I'm going to like be okay that day. Yeah. And I'm like, those are my little things that make me happy. And as long as I do that, then I'm going to be good. Yes. But I also make sure now that I get ready every day. Oh, cool. Even just a tiny bit. Mm-hmm. Even just a tiny bit. Like if I'm going to put on a workout fit, I'm going to make sure it's something that like I feel cute in, that's matching a little. I'm going to put my hair up. I'm going to put on a little mascara. Like I put that time in now, even 5 minutes that I used to never, ever, ever put in, because it makes a difference. Like if I like take those 5 minutes to like look at myself and like pick out a cute fit and like just spending time with yourself, just physically connecting with yourself. Totally. That I have to do that every day now. I have to. I cannot go back to the sweatpants and looking like a little mole rat. So that's my routine. Okay, I love it. And advice. Wait, is that what you said? Advice? Yeah, advice for like 5 years ago you or younger you, like any age that you can think of that, what would you tell her? Whatever comes to mind. Okay. Let me think. I would say that the magic and the fantasy and the love that I was like so desperately searching for in every other facet and human was just in my brain and my body all along, and that the quickest way to have, the quickest way to get there that would have saved me so much like sadness was to focus on myself and to put more time into myself and to get to know myself and do things that brought me joy and that I love to do. I wish that I could tell her that so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have made a difference at the time, but maybe if it was future me telling her, being like, no, seriously.
Look at us now.
Look, no, please, just do one thing for yourself, please. I think I would say that because that's really what changed. Like the minute I started doing things not because I had to or because someone told me or because X, Y, and Z expectations were made for me that I had to do this, and this to be a good wife and mom and in the church, and this is what society wants of you. Like, if I could just have crumpled that up and thrown that out the door and then made a new list and been like, what do you like to do?
Yeah,
what makes you happy?
Yeah.
Where do you want to be in 5 years? That would have changed the game. That would have changed the game. So I think that's the advice I would have given myself / anybody younger struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That gave me chills when you're just saying like the magic. It's just in you. And when I think of you,
It is.
also, I feel like when I think of you, and Amber, fill her up, I think of magic, just like
I'm
magic.
honored because we love each other.
And the thing is, I think about you guys is that you embrace fully who you are. You're not trying to be someone else,
No, not anymore, man.
And I think that's where like the magic comes. And
It does. Once you, yes. Yeah, and you can see it in people. You can see it in people. Like the minute they've just fully accepted who they are and just been like, this is me. You can take it or leave it. Like my Instagram, my real life, my TikTok, whatever. This is how it's going to look now. And you can take it or leave it. I'm just going to live my best life. Like,
yes.
You can see it. You can see it. You can definitely see that in Amber's life.
And yours. Maybe you don't see as much as other people do, but we do.
I really do now.
Yeah.
I really do now, which is wild. Like only in the last probably 2 years. Because I used to even overanalyze, like even when I was confident, so much more confident, like self-love wise, I tried to curate and make things look a certain way. And now I'm just like posting whatever I want to post, showing whatever I want to show.
That's what we love.
Doing whatever we want to do.
Because vulnerability is cool.
Vulnerability is cool, bitches.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's truly an honor, and I hope to have you on again one day because
I will be anytime.
You have so much magic to share, and
I know,
you're amazing.
I'm surprised that we didn't talk for an hour and a half. I can talk for 16 hours. It's so bad.
Same. So we're the best combo.
We are a really good combo.
But thank you. You're the best. We love you.
You're the best. I love you. Thanks for asking me. I can't believe I'm the first one. This is crazy.
Yes, of course. The only one I wanted for the first one. So
I hope we nailed it.
Yes, that was good. Can we end it like that? Okay.